Illidan versus Tyrande.
Raw power is no substitute for true strength.
I will prove myself to you.
Hey guys, I wanted to get this video out as quickly as possible because I put together a Demon Hunter list I thought I would like. I've played some games, I've tweaked the deck list, and I'm really pleased with the state of things. I call this my Avalanche deck. So right off the bat, it was difficult keeping the 1/2/1 in the opening hand, knowing that I wouldn't necessarily be able to outcast him. And as luck would have it, the card on the left got replaced with the same thing, so I do get my outcast rolling there. The name of the game here, the reason why I call it Avalanche is I've got some cheap stuff going on to be able to control my hand positioning and control the board in the early game. And then the point is using things like Imprisoned Antaen, Priestess of Fury to basically start avalanching damage later on is the main focus of the deck. I have been playing it a little bit. It's a new way of learning to play Hearthstone because you gotta think about hand position unlike ever before. So right off the bat, I want to address what I think are going to be people's top 2 questions about my current deck list. The first being, why not 2 Skulls of Gul'dan? I did have that initially, and then I dropped down to 0, and now I've arrived at 1, and I'm really pleased with this. And the reason is because this is kind of a mid-range deck. The first objective is to control the board and draw cards until you can find an Imprisoned Antaen, so that you can put that into play as early as possible because it's dormant for 2 turns. And by that point you're usually finishing up. On turn 5 you got the Imprisoned Antaen, turn 6 you're attacking and playing the minion that shoots 4, and it's a 7/4 body, and then turn 7 you're playing Priestess of Fury. It's the 5/6/7 combo punch. I haven't met a deck that can withstand it yet. One thing I want you to pay close attention to, though, as you're watching this game, is please note how my opponent stays very close to full health the entire game. And I think that's important because of all the games I've played with this deck and its various iterations. This was the one that I found to be most challenging, and it turns out to just not be enough, which is great. Now, the second question I anticipate people are going to be asking is, why not Kane Sunfury, I think his name is, the charge guy that basically says everybody ignores taunts. If we get to a point where people are playing, taunts, and that turns out to be a factor, then yeah, by all means, I would do that, but I don't think that's going to be the case, or at least it's not right now. So going back to the Skull of Gul'dan, here I actually do play it, even though it's probably not the best play I could have made. I just knew that if I didn't play it now, it was going to get buried in my hand, so I just went for it, and it turned out to be kind of nice. Now, these 4/4s that reduce the cost of your next demon, you got to be careful because the 1 cost card that grows as you attack is also a demon, so sometimes you can kind of whiff in that way, but both Imprisoned Antaen and Priestess of Furies are demons, so I've found that these 4/4s are usually worth it, especially since the way the deck's constructed. It's usually around turn 4 that I either have too little to do or too much to do. So that's a good way to kind of like get everything prepared. But we're nearing the turning point of the game. He's already withstood the first Antaen waking up, and as you can see, my opponent was at full health until I attacked there. And drawing the 4/4 is amazing because here I set up a board state where she kind of has to address the board with her turn, but at the same time, if she does not, then my Imprisoned Antaen will wake up and help me basically finish off the game. And of course, as you can see with Metamorphosis in my hand, it makes for a pretty substantial push potential, and even though my opponents stayed more or less at full health the entire game. The Avalanche nature of both Imprisoned and Antaen and Priestess of Fury just proves to be overwhelming for this control-y, very heal-y priest. So I hope you've enjoyed this game. I tried my best to get it out as quickly as possible just because I think everybody's going to be struggling to find good Demon Hunter deck lists. I've played with a few as I've tweaked this one, and I really like this one. So see you guys in the next one. Take care.